Hi people, how are you? I hope you're doing great. Today we are going to review this book, Call It What You Want, by Brigid Kemmerer. And I have to say that I'm so happy that I discovered this author because I love what she writes. I love that she talks about people who isn't perfect, people who have a screw up, people who doesn't have an easy life, people who are very relatable because of that, because usually we find people who are very sure of themselves, who are heroes or who are doing great things, and it's amazing to find people like the people that she writes that are just regular people with their problems and with their screw ups and trying to be better versions of themselves and all of that. And I have to say that I love her books because of that, and because they have this ability. I don't know how she does that, but her books resonate with me in a way that's amazing. And it's like, I don't know, it's like they connect with me in a way that when I'm reading one of her books, I'm inside the book and I'm living everything that the characters are doing or feeling. And for me that's very important, because I've said it 1,000 times that for me the most important part of a book are the characters, but also the way that she has of creating them and of making them alive and how they reach out to you. That's amazing. And okay, to the book at hand, we have this book is Estelle, from the point of view of two characters, Maegan and Rob. Both of them have problems. Rob is being shunned by the school and all his friends and almost everyone because his father was caught embellishing funds and he was stealing money. And when it was known, everyone just didn't want anything to do with him because they think that he knew that his father was stealing money, and also they know that his father tried to commit suicide, but he survived mostly because he isn't like in a, well, you have to read the book and see, but the people think that his father is now in a nursing home. They don't know that he didn't know anything about what his dad was doing about the stealing of money, and that he also has to take care of his father, who's, well, I think I can say that he's more like a vegetable than a person now, and I say it with the other most respect. And it's very hard for him to see his father like that, because he, in a way, I think that he wants to hate his father for what he did, for stealing money and for having everyone pointing at him, shunning him, not wanting to talk with him. But also he sees his father like he is now, that he can talk, that he draws all over himself, and there is like this word inside himself, like, I want to hate you, but look at you, And there is also this character who he used to have everything. He was a very well-known person in the school. Everyone liked him. He was with the ones, the power people, as just to call them in some way. And suddenly no one wants to talk with him. He has no social life, and he spends all his time doing his homework and reading books. And I love that Brigid Kemmerer talk about Ember in the Ashes and all these kinds of books, because it was very nice, because I have read them, so yeah. And well, we have this character that he's like a pariah. And then we have Maegan. It's a very smart girl, but he did something wrong too. And there was the SAT exams, or do you say SAT? I'm not sure, but the thing is that she cheated on those exams and she was caught, so everyone has to take the exams again. So everyone is like, okay, this is all your fault. And she was like the good girl from on the family, but she isn't anymore because, she's done this horrible thing, and she thinks she has a sister called Samantha, and Samantha got a scholarship, and she has always been measuring herself against her sister because she wants to be so good as her sister, and she thinks that her parents approve more of her sister because she did things so greatly, and she has the scholarship and she hasn't, and she feels like she has this pressure on herself, that she has to be more, that she isn't enough. And I love to see this character who's struggling because she has this perception, she has this perception in which her parents think that she isn't enough. And I love that because sometimes when we are young, we don't think about asking our parents if we are enough, or if we could do things in another way or whatever. So she takes everything inside herself, and there is something recurrent in the book that she always says that she's carrying more secrets that she knows what to do with them. So yeah, she's like this character who thinks that she has to be more constantly, and she's very, it's like, okay, I have to be perfect, and I have to be better than my sister, and I have to be, picture perfect. And it's funny because her sister comes back home and she's pregnant, and she doesn't want to say who the father of the kid is, and Maegan begins to see that her sister maybe is not as perfect as she thought that she was. And I love the sister. The sister is amazing. The sister is called Sam, and she is 18, and she went into this school because she got this scholarship because she's a great lacrosse player, but she gets pregnant, and it's like, okay, what I'm gonna do with my life? Because if I keep the baby, maybe I lose the scholarship and I won't be able to keep doing what I'm doing. But if I lose the baby, can I get an abortion? Not can I get that in the way that will I be able to get one, but more like, will I be happy with the outcome of losing the baby? Or do I give the baby in a free adoption, or what I do? And I love the way in which this character just wants to forget about everything for a while, and she feels like she's trapped because everyone is thinking about the baby and it's pressuring her to make a decision, and she only wants to for a bit just to forget, to confront the father of the child. You will see why she has to do that, and she wants like to break free and do what she wants to do, but in her way, in her, it has to be her goal, if that makes sense, because she feels like she's pressured by her parents to make a decision, and she wants to make that decision by herself because it's her body and it's her baby, and that's important too. So we have all these variety of characters that maybe they're not perfect. We will find also a guy called Owen who has a lot of money, and we will see the struggles he goes through, and his mother too. And I have to say that I love this book so much because there is this kind of darkness in Rob, especially because he feels guilty of something that he hasn't done, and he feels like everyone is judging him, and maybe there's lots of people who are, but there is people who isn't, and he begins to discover that. And I find that it's powerful for him to be able to confide in people, and to allot everything that he's been through, and to be able to finally cry about what's happening, and to say, here I am, this is me, this has happened, what can I do? And Rob was an amazing character for me, and also there is these moments in which he finds himself doing things that I'm not going to tell because you have to read the book, but he finds himself doing things and he tries to justify himself because, it's like, I'm doing the wrong thing, but for the right reasons, and it's a very complicated character because he has a lot of spectrums of shades, and I love him a lot. Maegan it's also a great character, but for me the main character of this book is Rob, because as I say, I love all the shades that he brings into play, and I love seeing how he needed to just forgive himself for what happened because he didn't really had any say in it. So we are going to find this book in between these two main characters that they have to do a class project together, and they don't want to do it together, and they began finding out things about the other person, and they began this friendship that began to turn into something more. And I love that these two characters began this journey of healing, of understanding that you can make a mistake in life, and you are going to do lots of mistakes because that's the learning process in life. You as all of us. You are not perfect, you are going to fail or you are going to screw up, and that doesn't have to define who you are, but the fact that you get up and try again, say you are sorry, and try to make the best with what you have, that's what defines you, I think. And we are going to find these characters who are all broken in a way, and we are going to follow them into this journey in which they began befriending each other, and feeling something else. And I love how the relationship between the main characters is portrayed, because it's not insta love, it's something that begins growing between them, and it's not perfect. There's times in which there is, okay, I don't want to know anything about you because you have done this now, and that I can cope with, but also this way of, okay, but maybe what he did, what she did is wrong, but was done for the right reasons. And it's like this, there is no black and white, there is this wide spectrum. And I love that also this idea is in the book, the idea that maybe there is a right thing, but the right thing, it's a different thing for everyone. So one person can believe that he's doing the right thing and another person says that he isn't. And I think it's all point of views and positions, and there's lots of things in this book. Also, there is this critique about poor people who have lots of money and maybe don't think about it, and there's these people who don't have so much, and all these differences between classes, and it's amazing. I love this book because it has so much in its pages. It's amazing. I mean, I love Brigid Kemmerer because she always manages to touch something inside you and makes you think about lots of things. About it was Robin Hood, right? Because he stole from the rich and gave to the poor, but he was stealing. And who's to say that the rich didn't work very hard to have what they have? And who are you to decide what to take and what to give away and all of that? So yeah, there's a lot of thought about it. There is also reflections about black people, how they are treated in this world. There is a character who says very powerful things in a part of the book about how sometimes black people are accused just because they are black, and that's really something that is really screwed up. And you're going to find lots of things in this book that will make you think. At least it did for me, because you are reading this book and it's amazing to see the relationship between these two main characters. But there is also, I found there is a lot of reflection points in the book that makes you stop and think, okay, I didn't see things from this angle before, now I'm seeing them, and okay, that's a very powerful message. I love this book. If you love Brigid Kemmerer, you're going to love this one. If you haven't read anything by Brigid Kemmerer, you really should, because she's amazing. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.